Zidane, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. In today's video, or I guess this is the second video of the day, the point is we are going to be talking about Soul Crusher as well as Queen Banana. Now, the reason I'm combining these into one video is because of the fact that these episodes are very connected. Now, obviously, if we were under normal circumstances and I wasn't on vacation when the episodes came out, I would have obviously separated them and talked about them separately. But this episode was really interesting to me. Yeah. This episode was odd, to say the least. These two episodes were odd, to say the least. So, to start off, Soul Crusher begins by introducing us to a new character, a relatively friendly character, that being Zoe. And honestly, it's rather interesting that the way that they handled it, because the fact is that most fans actually knew that Zoe was going to be Chloe's sister, or half-sister. But they did a rather interesting job with actually keeping that hidden until she actually showed up. Which, rather interesting to say the least, that they did that pretty well. And it's really interesting as well that she's just so different from them. And she's kind. She wants to help people. In her taxi, going towards her when she arrives, she saves only one bag of the food that she got from Marinette, keeping only one for herself to actually have once she's gone in. The others, she leaves with her taxi driver to basically give it to her family, which... Zoe, you are perfect for being a superhero. Thank you for existing. So many aspects of Zoe are honestly amazing in this episode, and it's honestly a bit funny because I have a cousin who's also named Zoe. So, needless to say, I'm just... What the frell? You guys... Oh my gosh, it's hilarious, but it's also awesome. And needless to say, a lot of really cool stuff happens throughout this episode. We get to see Zoe trying to pretend to be part of her family, but at the same time, she's seeing that there are people who would actually be her friends. Seeing Marinette, who, even after she finds out that Zoe is Chloe's sister, Marinette stands up and is willing to be her friend, even though she knows for a fact that, even though she has pretended to be a jackass, Marinette still invites her and says, "Look, I get it. You want your family to accept you. So, if you have to pretend to be the person that you're not, then maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should come join us," which is honestly amazing. I love this episode. But she still invites her over. Even after everything that happens in the episode, she still invites her over to the barge, and it's amazing. But when Zoe comes back to the house, Chloe is just like, "You need to dress like me. You need to wear these ridiculous heels and be and just work for me," and just all this stuff, showing her some terrible parts of her. Oh my gosh, there is so much that... Chloe, how did you go from being decent to being worse than you were? Honestly, it's a bit insane to think about, because throughout the what I call the Chloe arc, which is basically from Despair Bear throughout season 2 And even a little bit in season 3, Chloe improves drastically. I mean, sure, she's demanding, "Hey, I want to be a hero and all of this jazz." But at the same time, she has changed a little bit, improving if ever so slightly. But in the same aspect, as soon as this is over, as soon as her mom is back and is causing trouble for her family, it just collapses. And it's just, what the heck? Why in the world are you like this, Chloe? But on the other hand, Zoe shows her fortitude, her wanting to be a good person. And it's honestly so heartwarming to see Andre, Mayor Bourgeois, to be such a good stepfather. And I actually love this. Throughout both of these episodes, Andre is kind of like a doting father and is completely supportive of all of the things that Zoe wants to do. She wants to make a movie, go for it. She wants to, she's trying to figure out what exactly she should do around the family. He explains how he has managed to do it for the past few years, which, honestly, bravo for him, but at the same time, just leave them. Seriously. Oh my gosh, I know that people are going to hate me for this, but seriously, at this point, Andre needs to divorce Audrey, because she is a monster. Let that be clear. First off, the reason I say that so specifically is because, first off, look at how old Zoe and Chloe are. They are very close in age. It's actually a bit insane. And we know that Chloe is supposed to be Andre's daughter, and Zoe is supposed to be some other guy's daughter, but they look very similar in age. It does not look like people who are of different ages. On top of that, we now know that Zoe is now, for her homeroom class, she is going to be in the same class as, I'm forgetting who she is, but what her actual name is, but Stormy Weather and, Mark? Yeah, Mark. So she is now in that class, which, from what I understand, that is the same age group as frickin' Marinette's class. There is a possibility that that is the year below, but as of right now, we don't really know for sure. Based off of how big the school is, I'd say at most a year below, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. The fact remains, though, that for it to be this quick, it tells me that Audrey at least cheated, if not divorced and married immediately after her other husband, or whatever is going on there. And it's just Chloe's father, and it's just, or Zoe's father, and it's just like, what the hell? There is so much that happens, and it's just, why? That is, having Audrey as her father is just, no, I am so sorry for you. There's so much that happens in this episode, and I'm a bit disappointed with them, but there's not much we can do about that. The point is, but moving on, back to the episode at large, the point is that after all of this, Chloe and Zoe interact with each other. Zoe becomes Soul Crusher, which, that battle was fairly self-explanatory. They basically just fought her, destroyed the shoes, which they realized, oh, it's not these shoes, it's her other shoes. Broke over there, went over, destroyed the lock, got her actual shoes, which I do want to say is really interesting. so far we've only seen a few specific things. First off, there have only been 2 times, including this time, where Marinette and Adrian have been wrong about about where the Akuma is. This time, and in frickin' Antibug, where it was away, but which was temporary. It doesn't matter. That was the first battle against Sabrina, which, whatever. But at the same time, they do it really quickly. They still figure it out pretty easily, which is interesting. They save the day, blah, blah, blah. Big whoop. No big deal. Everything's pretty self-explanatory after that. But it's interesting to note that there have only been 2 times where the Akuma has been in an object that was rather far away from the person who was actually using it. The first time was that in Dark Owl, which, keep in mind, he was at the place when it actually happened. But this time, it was the first time where she was actually not at the location that she gets akumatized at, which, needless to say, is rather interesting, and I'm kind of excited to see how things are going to be going forward, and are we going to be seeing more of this? I don't know. But the episode ends with her with Zoe going to the barge to hang out with them, and it's honestly a really nice moment. Obviously, I hate Audrey and I hate Chloe, but Andre does some really awesome things to actually be a really good stepdad for Zoe. And honestly, I love that he is such a good stepdad for her. I'm excited. But that is pretty self-explanatory. Moving on now to Queen Banana, which, Chloe, I hate your guts. Throughout the episode, throughout the early parts of the episode, Chloe is trying to cause complete mayhem. Zoe and her group and her friends are trying to make a movie that is going to actually appear in theaters, but they don't have much time. It's probably going to be a very short movie. But Chloe, oh my gosh. Chloe is constantly trying to cause complete mayhem. Basically demanding that she be the hero. She has to have all of these things. This, that, and the other thing. And it's just like, by the time that she's done with it, it's a completely different movie. Demanding that everyone adhere to her view, and it's intolerable. Now, we only get to see the ending part of the movie, but it's honestly really interesting, to say the least, to see something that Zoe actually really put into heart, and that was that she was super involved with this film. It feels like Mylène is supposed to be Chloe in this aspect. She is meant to be someone who is diabolical, but at the same time, the hero, Zoe, still wants a relationship with her sister to make her be actually part of the family. It's heartwarming, to say the least, to see these two, and, well, specifically to see Zoe, just, she wants to still have a relationship with her sister, even though Chloe is a monster that does not deserve it. She is still willing to forgive her, to make amends, to have just a relationship with her sister, even though things are hard. And like I said, it's heartwarming to see this. I love it. Even though Chloe does not deserve it at all. But obviously, Chloe gets pissed off, gets akumatized, and gets in amok to basically change her car into her own new banana beetle. Which is just, what the frell is going on with Queen Banana? Oh, she is such a ridiculous hero. But it's also really interesting to see Marinette saving Zoe and then instantly knowing, here, you are worthy to be the new holder of the Be Miraculous. Just obviously be careful. Don't reveal your identities and all of that jazz. And the battle, like I said, was pretty self-explanatory. Unlike the battle in Mr. Pigeon 72, both of these battles were fairly self-explanatory. They fight the villain, they get the Akuma, which also, I do have to say one thing though, holy crap, the freaking, Zoe was very quick to actually figure out, oh, yeah, I need to give Pollen we need to detransform, and we need Pollen to be back to her normal self, and they de-transform and retransform in a very quick amount of time. It's really cool to see that she's kind of already got this whole hero thing down, which I would like to say is more than likely partially due to the fact that Chloe had told her at least a little bit of stuff. But I'm not 100% certain. I would like to know exactly what she fed Pollen, but not the point right now, and we're going to just skip ahead to continue this battle. But, yeah, they defeat everything, we're back to the fight. Glue in the frickin' holster to get the frickin' banana gun stuck in there, and then, yeah, everything's solved. Marinette saves the day, pulls out a magical charm to give to Chloe. Chloe is just like, no, you're all really ridiculous, I'm gonna run away, and all this jazz. Which, also, I do have to say, seeing that Chloe and her mom are so similar that basically Marinette has to do underhanded ways to make sure that they get their Akumas, it's like looking at two people that are basically the exact same thing. Chloe runs off before she can get the magical charm, but Zoe successfully manages to trick Chloe into thinking that the magical charm is actually a necklace that their mom gave to Zoe a while ago, and now Chloe wants it because she is a selfish brat. And so she takes it just in time because Hawkmoth is like, I am going to Akumatize her immediately. Sends an Akuma to her, like I said, immediately. And it just bing, bounces off. And it's just like, yay! Now we know how it works, which is honestly amazing. But, yeah, that whole thing is over. Big whoop. Adrian and Marinette watch from the sidelines, basically like, okay, what's going on? But at the same time, there is still one last thing that I do want to mention. This is the episode where Adrian draws the line. As we remember in Despair Bear, Adrian told Chloe, if you're not going to be a nice person, I can't be friends with you anymore. And he draws that line again, which, oh my gosh, this is the point where he is saying, no more. You are not my friend anymore if you're going to continue to be this mean. And from what it looks like, yeah, he is not friends with Chloe anymore, which, boom. Amazing. Thank you for doing that, because she needs some actual consequences. Which I also want to bring up one last thing before the end of this. Sabrina. Throughout these episodes, we get to see just how much Sabrina is being abused here. And this is a really, really bad abuse situation. Abuse is not something funny to look at all. Just no. But Sabrina has been stuffed in a closet to basically do Chloe's homework. She has been forced to run after a limo to make sure that Chloe still has her bananas or whatever multiple times, and it is awful. She's also being forced to carry whatever And it's just, what the heck are you doing, Sabrina? You need to stop. You need to stop listening to Chloe, because if you keep doing this, you are going to be hurt so badly. And honestly, I am hoping to all hope that when it's eventually time for Sabrina to get the dog Miraculous, at that moment, she is understanding she cannot be a servant. She is not a servant. She is not a slave to Chloe. She is her own person with her own desires and needs to stand up for herself. And I am hoping to all hope that by the time that it's time for her to get that Miraculous, when she gets it, it is going to be that little boost of confidence that she needs to understand, I am worthy. I am more worthy than Chloe is at the moment to be a hero. I should actually do things properly. I should be a hero. I should be the one who stands up for myself and says, I am done. And I am hoping to all hope that at the end of that episode, when we finally get to see Sabrina stand up for herself and say, no more, Chloe. No more. I am my own person. I am my own hero. I am going to stand up for myself. Which I actually think happened. I'm not exactly certain what episode this happened in, but because of the fact that there are still a few episodes that we haven't seen yet, but I think that this might have happened because Sabrina is nowhere to be seen within Optigami, which, oh my gosh, that is actually really interesting, that Sabrina is nowhere to be seen. Instead, Chloe takes advantage of Zoe, which, big surprise there, even though Zoe is trying to be a good sister. Oh my gosh. Seriously, some people just need to stand up to Chloe and say, no more. We are done listening to you. And I think that that's going to be happening over the next few episodes. And I'm hoping that Chloe finally understands that she can't be this person anymore. I also think that there is also going to be something with Andre before too long, where Andre is going to kick Chloe and Audrey out, saying, you two are not coming back here at all until you have figured out yourselves and you have actually become decent human beings. I don't know for sure, but I would hope to all hope that that actually happens, because those two are complete monsters and do not deserve the love that they have gotten from these people. And yes, I think that at some point they may be able to get that love back, but right now they need someone to say, no more, you need to stop. It's just something that happens, that needs to happen for a lot of people, and it can help some people. Obviously, it's not going to help everyone, but it can help a lot. And yeah, there's a lot to that, and we'll talk more about this whole situation in the future, but we don't know. There's still a lot of episodes that still need to be seen, and we'll be talking about each and every one of them as they come out. As of right now, the only episode that we currently have a name for is Gabriel Agreste, with still a few episodes between frickin' Mr. Pigeon 72 and frickin' Optigami left to be revealed. So hopefully all of the episodes in between from the very beginning of the season to Optigami happen before anything after Optigami, but we'll have to wait and see exactly what happens. But for one, I am really excited to see how exactly all of this continues to play out. And like I said, I am so excited to see everything happen in all of Miraculous, because I'm really excited. Anyways, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and ring that notification bell. Of course, if you have any thoughts or theories, please leave them down in the comments below. If you are going to leave a theory, make sure to say theory review somewhere in your comment. And of course, if you guys do want to support the channel even more, then definitely head down to the description and check out all of our links down there, including our social medias, our other channels, and ways you can support us financially, including the merch store, the book, and of course our Patreon, which a big thank you to our current patron, Sheeny. But anyways, guys, I've been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on!